x equals 2. 12 times log base xy plus x equals 5y. And we need to solve this linear system. It's very interesting because we have two log terms with different bases. So in order to solve this, we need to somehow make the bases to be the same. And to make the bases the same, or in other words, change the bases, we need to use the change of base formula, which is log base a b equals to log base c, which is some new base that you get to decide, b divided by log base c a. So in our scenario, since we know that log base yx equals 2, we should change the base of this term to be y, right? So we have log base x y is equal to log base y y divided by log base y x. And this is really, really useful because log base y is just 1, because y to the power of what is y? Well, it's just 1. And in the denominator, we already know from equation 1 that this is supposed to equal to 2. So this is really, really useful. Now we can substitute this into equation 2. So we'll have 12 times log base xy, which we now know is 1 over 2, plus x is equal to 5y. So this becomes 6 plus x is equal to 5y. However, we still have two unknowns, and we need to make another substitution to solve this equation. So what is the other substitution we can make? Well, if we go back to equation 1, which is log base yx equals 2, we can convert this to its exponential form, which is y to the power of 2 is equal to x. All right, beautiful. So now we go back to this equation and we substitute y squared in place of x. So this will become 6 plus y squared is equal to 5y. We can bring everything to one side. So y squared minus 5y plus 6 is equal to 0. Awesome. Now we have one variable. We can just factor. So this would become y minus 2 times y minus 3 is equal to 0. This tells us that y is either equal to 2 or y is equal to 3. Now all we have to do is sub it back into the original equations and solve for x, right? Or we can just use this equation right here. This would be easier. X is just equal to y squared, right? So if y is 2, then x is just going to equal to 4. And if y is 3, then x is just going to equal to